Hi, I'm Tyrrell of Uncommon Knowledge, and welcome to Why Are So Many People Depressed? So we asked our Uncommon practitioners this question on our Facebook page. Why do you think depression has become so much more prevalent in the last 50 years? What is it about society that has changed so much? And we were so impressed at the energy and insight of the responses that we decided to summarize them. So rather than one answer being the right one or the only one, I see your informed replies as vital parts of the whole mosaic of possible depression causes. The first one was disconnected communities. 27% of the practitioners blamed disconnected communities. As we know, the need for the connection to community is certainly an important human primal need. It was suggested by you that people used to live in closer communities, be closer to nature, or belong to a faith of some kind, and this is much less likely now. And certainly feeling connected to something greater than oneself is protective of mental health and even physical health. And also in primitive cultures, or so-called primitive cultures, that still retain a strong sense of connection and community, depression cases are practically unknown. The next cause that you cited was materialism. So quite a lot of people talked about the pressure to keep up in a world which increasingly encourages materialism. And they talked about how we live in a me society, which is why people feel isolated or disconnected from others. It's me rather than we. And some doubted whether depression had really increased over the last 50 years at all. They said perhaps there was just an increased reporting in cases and that public acceptance made it much more easy or okay to seek help. Now, sadly, depression rates have gone up 1,000% since the end of World War II. And while research into the increase in depression does take into account both the increase in acceptance of the illness and the number of diagnoses, it also looks at the increased suicide and attempted suicide rate in our modern society, which have gone up exponentially as well. So these statistics are so high, it really does seem that depression genuinely has and still is increasing. And as I've said, this is particularly obvious when you look at depression and suicide rates in traditional societies compared to our industrialized ones. So depression is practically non-existent in traditional societies, but skyrocketing in ours, it seems. The other cause that you cited was unrealistic expectations. So Claire Waters commented that today's society makes people miserable because there's pressure to have the perfect skinny body and fat bank account. And a nice summing up, I thought, of skewed expectations of what really leads to well-being. Others also mentioned the huge media pressure to be perfect. 14% mentioned the media, meaning 24/7 news saturation and constant suffering that's presented. And it was also mentioned that because of technological changes, there was a pressure to be connected all the time. And I think there might be a lot in that. You know, depression rides off the back of fearful and pessimistic expectations and ruminations. And these expectations can be engineered through simplistic, materialistic messages from the media and others around the person who've been heavily influenced by our skinny body fat bank account, consume to be happy culture that we live in. And talking of consuming, mention was also made of how antidepressant products are very freely available but don't work very often. Diet was also cited. 30% of commentators suggested changes in diet over the last 50 years, particularly the mass consumption of processed, nutritionally defunct food might be fueling depression. And I love this one. Lara Erdley urged us to have more sex, and certainly we will share the need for both intimacy and healthy pleasures. Although, to be fair, Lara also said much more than this, that the best things in life are free, that we should admire the beauty in nature, such as a starry night, and stop and relax and enjoy the moment. So I think we could all reclaim our appreciation of the beauty of the world around us. And certainly I've noticed that as clients start to leave depression behind, they do begin to connect with the healthy pleasures and the beauty of the world. I see depression as being caused in part by all these things and more. and partly caused by the environment and partly caused by individual psychology, trained and shaped by experience. Happiness is found within. May be true, but the inside is nurtured by the outside, and environment matters. Even a plant needs water and sunlight to help fulfill its potential. So I hope you found that useful, and if you did, please hit like and subscribe. And if you want to hear when my next video is published, hit the notification bell below. I'm Mark Tyrrell of Uncommon Knowledge, and if you'd like to subscribe to my email newsletter, you can find it over at unk.com/blog. It's unk.com/blog, and thanks for watching.